Hi there, and welcome to my channel. Oh, I don't know if it's too low. Let's see. Better? Okay. So today's a Monday. Today is my day off, I guess, technically. I do eyelash extensions for a living, and so I'm not lashing today, but sometimes Mondays can still turn into a day full of errands and work. Usually on Mondays I do trade with one of my employees, and we both do each other's lashes, and that can take like 4 hours. Today is not the day. We do that every 2 weeks. And then other than that, I just have errands and stuff. So I have 2 locations. I'll have to run down to the other location. Some bank errands. I have a whole list. I made a whole list for today, but so I end up staying pretty busy on my day off. So anyways, yeah, so on Mondays I try to make a video if I can. So I recently had this idea to make a video on anxiety. I am a very anxious person, or I guess I should say I used to be, and it would get completely out of control. So I'll try my best to be good with this timeline, but it's kind of hard to really find like when it started, or my timeline can be a little bit messy because it did start when I was really young. When I was young, like, I didn't realize that there was a term for it. I just remember feeling the panic, and I didn't understand it at all. So like some of my earliest memories would be going to school, public school, and if I was late, or like there was a time specifically, I remember this time, I was probably in like 2nd or 3rd grade, and when I was walking to school, halfway on my way to school, which is about a mile away, I noticed that my dog was following me, Maddie, or, you know, and it might have even been earlier than halfway, but I like didn't want to turn around, and I loved animals. I have always loved animals, so honestly, I was like happy that she was with me, and I don't know what I was thinking, because I was like 8 years old, but I just thought, like, I don't know, I guess my mom will come get her, and like maybe I can show my friends my dog or something. I don't know, but I did not want to turn around and go and take her back home. So I just kept walking to school, and I walked into class, and I was a little, let's see, no, I wasn't a little bit late. I came in and I said, my dog followed me to school, and the teacher was kind of bothered and was like, go to the office, like call your mom, figure out how to get your dog taken or whatever and picked up. So I did, and then when I went back to class, I remember they had already started, like, I can't remember if it was like language arts, but they started whatever we were starting with, and everybody was already halfway through the assignment. And like that literally was like hell for me. It stressed me out to just the extreme. And I remember just having like a breakdown about it, like feeling like I was gonna fall apart. So my mom was she would prefer that all her kids were in homeschool, and my dad would prefer that we were in public school. So when I had that meltdown, my mom was like, don't go to public school, let's just do homeschool. And she took me out that day. Like, that's how big of a deal it was, and that's how bad I broke down. And truthfully, looking back, my mom should not have allowed me to get out of school. She should have taught me techniques, or how to like work through some of that panic, you know. I don't even think she knew it was anxiety. So yeah, so there was times when I was young that I remember feeling some of these panicky feelings, and then even like in middle school and high school, the first day of school is always super hard for me. Like, I panic a ton, and I have friends and stuff, but like I would want them to come and spend the night at my house so that we could go to school together, because for me it was like hard to walk in on the first day of school alone and then like roam the halls or whatever. And like, I don't know, public school's so weird to actually even think about, like, that you can't be comfortable in your own skin and just like walk the halls. Like, I really feel like a lot of people had a hard time with that, but I couldn't just like walk into school alone on the first day. So it was like known for me from like probably starting 7th grade, 9th grade, around that area, that on the first day of school, I would always have a sleepover and go with my best friend. And that made the panic a lot better. I think there was still times where I couldn't have a sleepover. So anyways, that's why I remember those panic feelings. So, okay, so it was all as a child growing up. It got way worse once my parents divorced, and they divorced when I was about 10 or 11. And that created like a whole different type of panic and feeling that's kind of hard to explain. I don't know that a lot of people can relate to that, so I just won't go there, but yeah, I just started having these frequent panic attacks. Hey, you wanna come here? And I didn't understand them, so I couldn't explain them right. I would just like tell my parents I had a nightmare or something, but that wasn't the right way of explaining it because I didn't understand what was going on. Later, as I grew up and became an adult, I realized that there's actually a term for it, and it's anxiety. And I think people underestimate anxiety. Like, a lot of people are like, I have depression, and you know, there's a lot of society and people being able to empathize. They can empathize more with depression than anxiety. I don't think people understand that anxiety also can kind of break you daily. So let's see. So then around like, okay, so I ended up going to beauty school when I was 19 years old, and then finished within about 2 years, and then I opened up my business doing eyelash extensions. That is probably when I've experienced the most anxiety I've ever had. I don't cry a lot, and that created a lot of tears. There was just, it was out of control. So there was just so much stress, so many ups and downs, fear of failure, fear of running out of money and being locked in a lease and not being able to pay for it, fear of not being able to pay your employees, fear of not growing, fear of having a bunch of clients and losing half of your staff, which that has happened to me. It was terrifying. And so I started kind of going in this spiritual direction. I dated this guy who opened up. Wow, I don't know why I feel like I'm on the brink of tears right now. It's so weird. It's like weird to talk about it. I think when you have anxiety that like you're very susceptible to like energy and other people's emotions and feelings. It's so weird. Like you, I don't know, you can feel people's energy, and so you're really sensitive to it, and you have to be like really careful who you surround yourself with, because like I consider myself a very strong person, but people can really bring me down. Like there's been people that are on like the brink of suicide, and I thought maybe I could help reverse like their path to that, and like I thought I could help them. And I tried, and like it was so quick that it just took me down with them. And it's not that I felt suicidal or anything, but I had like a full-on panic attack meltdown because their energy was so extreme for me, and the things they would say are like extreme. Like they resonate at such a low vibrational frequency that it was impossible for me to help them. And like I wanted to so bad. Like I don't know, like I've put a lot of effort in trying to help people that feel like they no longer want to be here. And so that was a weird lesson, trying to help someone who was on that low vibrational frequency, and realizing that I'm not strong enough to help them, and that they can only help themselves. That was difficult for sure. So let's see, where was I going with the anxiety thing? Oh, okay, so yes. So then I started dating somebody who opened up a whole nother world to me. It was opening up spiritualism to me. Like I hated religion, and please don't take that wrong, but like I was raised, I was raised by my mom after the divorce in extreme religion. Like she really forced her beliefs onto us as kids and made us do whatever she was doing. It was really strange, actually. We won't go totally into that one, but it was extremely strange. My entire weekend was consumed and filled with whatever it is that she felt was appropriate, and it was religious. It would be going in the middle of nowhere and trying to enjoy nature and stuff, which is fine, but like it was to an extreme level. It's not like she really like packed food for us. Like we didn't enjoy it at all. Like I never got to hang out with my friends on the weekend ever at all, and she thought all holidays were evil. So anyways, I was totally against religion. I was more so leaning towards the agnostic, atheist side of things because that was how my dad was, and I felt that he was very smart and he gave me some type of structure, and so I followed it. He wasn't as loony as my mom was, and so that was a more attractive route, and I thought it was just either you're religious or you don't believe at all. And dating that guy opened up the unknown, and I didn't understand that you don't have to be religious to believe in a higher power. And so I more so became spiritual, and he would point out random little things like trying to challenge me to think deeper, and that was so hard for me, and it really took me out of my comfort zone and made me super uncomfortable. Like I didn't like it at all. And he would just be like, I want you to question why the grass is green. I want you to, you know, ask about these things and question it. I'm like, I really don't give a shit why the grass is green. But now I can see his point. He wanted me to think deeper than the surface. And truly, I didn't know how to think deeper than the surface. So he was full of knowledge and wisdom and taught me a lot of these things and opened up like your third eye, if you will. Into a whole new world, and now I do think a lot deeper than the surface. I think before that I was very selfish, but I didn't know it, and I didn't know any other way to be. And now I understand that all human beings and all living plants, people, animals are connected. And I really like that thought, and it's a peaceful thought, and it doesn't tie you to any religious dogma, and I really like that about it. It just, you feel free. So as he introduced that to me, I became obsessed with it. Like, and I tried not to like let it be to an extreme level because I felt like my mom and dad were both one extreme to the other. Like my dad was totally anti, and then my mom was like, oh my gosh, like I have to cover my hair, only God can see me, and forcing me to do certain things on the weekend, and it just didn't resonate with me. So again, I know that sometimes religion can be offensive, but that is not what I'm trying to do at all. All I'm trying to say is that the way that my mom lived did not resonate with me at all. I was completely repelled by it. It became a negative thing, and it's too bad, but it did. It wasn't a loving, inviting, giving you freedom type of a thing. So I started reading a lot of different books, and I started listening to Alan Watts, who is a philosopher. He's fascinating. Look him up on YouTube. And there are a lot of amazing philosophers on just physics and spiritualism, and they're all kind of connected, which is really weird and cool at the same time. And I don't believe that we need to know everything and have all the answers, but the journey I'm on it resonates with me right now, and it feels right, and it's helped. It's helped my anxiety. So that's my point, is that opened up another way of thinking, and it did calm my anxiety. But you know what? It wouldn't do it for long. That's the problem. So I started meditating, because all these things I'm doing is to try to just like be at peace, you know, with my mind and my thoughts, and it was fun. It was fun to learn and like, I don't know, like just think deeper. It was really fun. So one of my main books that I enjoy, and it is my total Bible, is Gene Keys by Richard Rudd. I adore this book. It is full of such deep thinking and amazing. It's just amazing. It is totally my Bible. So, and what it is it's just full of different gene keys, genes as in genetics, that are within everybody's genetics, and it explains the vibrational frequency of each gene key and the negative side to it or the positive side, depending on you, and if you can find that Siddhi state, S-I-D-D-H-I, just that total peaceful state, and learning how to manage some of these feelings that you have, and learning how to take it out from the shadow frequency and into the more so like enlightened positive frequency. That's not like, these are such weird terms, and anyways, get the book, you'll love it. It's deep. There are some big words in it at first. Like, it can be kind of hard, just like the Bible. Like, I had to Google a lot of words to find out what they mean, and it was just a new what's the word? It was just a whole nother like realm of terms that I've never heard of before, because they are spiritual terms. So I had to Google a lot when I first got the book, but now I'm like way more familiar with it, and it's fascinating. Like, it literally is so euphoric when I read these concepts and I understand them. It's a really cool feeling. So I started reading, I started studying, and trying to find that Siddhi state, totality, like trying to be totally at peace with myself and at peace with the universe and what everyone around me is doing, and that it'll all turn out okay. And there were days that I would feel completely like, oh my God, like, this is amazing. I feel totally at peace now, finally. Like, I get it, you know? And I would just feel so encouraged to be my best self and like let go of anxiety. Like, nothing matters. Let go of everything. Quit clinging on to thoughts and feelings, you know? And I would feel inspired. And then the next day I would crash and be back to that panicky feeling, that feeling that wakes me up at 2 in the morning where my heart's beating and my mind can't stop thinking. And that finally I can go to sleep, and then when I wake up, panic again. And then I started learning how to meditate, and I haven't totally, oh my gosh, this happens to me all the time, I can't think of words. The word's not manage. But I haven't totally figured out how to like clear my mind when I'm meditating, but it's just all about practicing and trying to do it daily. And it does feel good. It feels good to just be and let all those thoughts leave your mind. I know that these thoughts could be kind of heavy too, by the way, so sorry. I know that this stuff can turn people off. Before I read about all this stuff, I was totally turned off by it. When I first dated that guy who introduced me to this, I was like, he is weird. I need to get to know him. Like, why is he so weird? You know, like, I thought he was super strange, and I was totally turned off by it. And then something happened where I just finally opened up the possibility and actually listened, and he had a lot of depth and knowledge to what he was saying, and he knew exactly what he was talking about. And I finally was like, I had that aha breakthrough moment, you know, it makes sense. So I had to date him for a little while too. He was part of my journey, and he helped me on my way. And yeah, he was just that part of my journey. But so I would read, I would meditate, I learned yoga, and all of those things felt really good, but none of them would last. Like, these feelings and these concepts that I was learning and feeling like I had control over, and that I had finally like reached that enlightened feeling, wouldn't last. I would feel fantastic and on cloud 9 one day, and the next day be back to that panicky, like, oh my God, what if, you know, this employee quits? What if all of a sudden we can't get clients? What if I'm locked in a 5-year lease and can't pay the rent, you know? What if my baby dies? Oh no, the battery's dying. Shit. Battery's dying. I might have to get back to this. Okay, I'm gonna have to charge the battery. Lame! Okay, I only have like 5 more minutes, so anyways, I'll get back to this. Okay, charge the battery a little bit. Okay, so I think I left off on just all those fearful thoughts of what if, all these bad things that can happen. So finally I went to a therapist, met with her, and after I explained to her kind of some of my anxiety, she said, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't tell you about anxiety medication. And I'm totally against medication and a lot of things that doctors offer. I'm trying to think of the right way to phrase it. I guess I worry that it's not healthy for my body and like the side effects that it can have. But she said that the stress that I was dealing with daily was far worse for my body than the side effects that this medication would offer. And I was nervous about like addictions and things like that. And so they said something that you take daily versus something that you take just for panic attacks isn't addictive. Something that you take daily is not addictive. If you take something like Xanax for a panic attack, that is addictive. So, and again, these panic attacks, like the thing that I had when I was little, like something started after that divorce that happened frequently. It's not a panic attack. It's something a little bit different. But the panic attack meltdowns that I was having, that only happened to me maybe 3 times. And it happens when I am around really shitty energy, basically. People who are overwhelming because they're overwhelming with their negative energy pretty much. And then I just have a meltdown. So I got on an anxiety medication. That made sense to me that she said that the stress that I was feeling daily was worse for me. I do believe that stress can cause cancer, illness, you know, MS, all kinds of things like that. I do think that totally affects you. My little brother has Crohn's disease, and when he's stressed, it's totally inflamed and he is very sick. And if he can keep that stress level at a minimum, he feels like he did when he was young. Winston, no. Not that he's old, but he's only 21, but sometimes he feels old because of his arthritis and things that Crohn's can cause. So what she ended up prescribing me was, well, she didn't prescribe it. I went to a doctor, and it's duloxetine. And that is something that you take daily. What I noticed with this is that I could feel it kind of in my stomach. Like I could feel like this acidic feeling in my stomach. So I didn't really like that. I also noticed that I had to time it out right. If I took it first thing in the morning, then I was tired all day long. If I took it right before bed, I didn't sleep right, because it's like you can feel it in your stomach kind of, and maybe I'm just sensitive. So the perfect timing to take it was at 6 p.m. because that gives me enough time before I'm going to go to bed at about 10 p.m. And then I wasn't dragging all day long. It's really windy outside. Things are slamming around. So this did help a lot. But I still didn't want to be on anything. And something that was kind of a pain in the butt was that, like, anytime I needed it refilled, which was monthly, the doctor wanted me to come in and see him and talk with him in person. And so there was a time where I ran out of it. I'm like, hey, you guys, I need you guys to like prescribe this again. And they would just kind of ignore my voicemail, and then I would call them again. And then it got to a point where it was 5 days late that I hadn't had it. So I'd already gone through, like, they call it withdrawals, but truly it was light. It was just like a light headache. Like I barely felt anything. And I finally was like, after 4 months of taking it, I was like, I don't want them having control over my sanity. Like I tried calling you guys to fill it up, and you guys are kind of hard to get a hold of. And to this day, I haven't been on it for like 2 or 3 months, and they haven't called or anything. Like, it's just kind of funny that they want to meet up with you monthly to see how you're doing and if you're handling it well. And then I quit it cold turkey, and nobody's called, nobody's checked on me, like if I really had like a severe problem, you know what I mean? So they don't care at all. That's another reason why I'm turned off by the doctor thing. So yes, I was on it for about 4 months, got off it because they were difficult to get a hold of, and It is so strange, but that 4 months I felt great. I'm like, this is so great. I was telling my boyfriend, like, I don't have any anxiety. Like, I literally just don't really care about anything anymore. Like, one of the downfalls to it was that I felt kind of zombie-ish daily. Like, this personality that I have right now and this energy, like, I didn't have that. So, like, I was gone, kind of. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I was just kind of low energy, kind of zombie-ish. I mean, I could barely feel anything. It was just like, yeah, my energy was low, kind of tired. So at work and stuff, I just wasn't very talkative, and like people could tell, like, something wrong with me. I'm like, I just don't have anything to say. So, so anyways, I got off the stupid thing and it served its purpose. Like, I'm not sure what happened, but when I got off of it, I felt fine. And now I've been off of it for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, and I haven't felt any anxiety at all. So I don't know. It's like, I feel like maybe it reset my brain. So I'm telling you, for years, literally years, I have tried everything that I can do to try to get rid of my anxiety. And no matter what I did, it would always roll back in. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot get a grip or control on this. And I think the anxiety medication, not feeling anxiety for 4 months straight, has kind of reset my brain or something. I don't know, or maybe it's situational. Maybe I'll have it again over something. I don't know, but I'll tell you what, I feel great. I feel my energy's back, my personality's here, I get things done, I'm motivated, I dream again, like, you know, get excited about things again. And when I had my anxiety really bad, like, I didn't even want to have a business anymore. And like, my business is successful. Like, it's doing well. It pays all my bills and takes care of all my employees, and it does well. But it was so overwhelming that I wanted to be done. Like, I just wanted to walk away from it. I dreamt about it. And now I love what I'm doing. I'm excelling. I'm making the business better. I'm adding things to it. I'm getting that creative power again. There's other things I want to do and expand in, and other business ideas, or maybe even just hobby ideas, you know. And I have zero anxiety. It's gone. I don't know. So that worked for me. I don't know. Hopefully this video is useful for you. If you don't have anxiety, then this whole video is probably totally boring. But, it sucks. Anxiety totally sucks. Like, in some ways it can be cool because it lights a fire under your butt and you get up and you do something with your life. But in other ways, your heart is panicking. And I think if you feel that daily, every day for your freaking life, like, it is going to eventually take you down with some type of illness. So that was my fear too, is that that would happen, and I literally could not control the panic. So anyways, I feel like $1 million. I'm curious to see if, like, I can't imagine it'd be gone forever, but I don't know. I feel great. Life is great. I dream. I don't care about anything. Like, and I think one of the things with anxiety that's important and fearful thoughts is to imagine those things happening and imagine how you'll take care of it. Like, if your fear is that your dad's gonna die one day, imagine it happening and how you will move on from it. And I know these are difficult things, but like, otherwise we live our entire life in fear rather than just enjoying life and enjoying your dad being alive. Or maybe my fear was that my business would freaking bite the dust. Like, okay, so what if it did? What would I do next? You know, and like, to have a plan of action and to almost work through it before it happens, so that you can get used to that thought and idea and understand that you're still alive and that you can still have a great life, even if your biggest fear happens. So I think rather than worrying, work through it. Like, work through if that were to happen. And again, even though I couldn't get a grip on my anxiety with anything except for freaking medication, I still 150% recommend reading self-improvement books, maybe going out and serving others, like serving others who have less than you, and they're fine and they're happy. not everyone, but there are people that have far less than we have and they're happy. So just going out and experiencing things like that. Reading some of these spiritual books. I know that some people might be turned off by the spiritual thing, but like spiritual is more so like a universal term, meaning that you're connected with other living things. So it's not too weird, or like, I don't know, it shouldn't turn you off that much, because it's actually just being connected with people and animals and feeling and having empathy, you know. But yeah, I still have to be careful with my anxiety in the way of like who I surround myself with. I've really noticed that who I am around, it totally affects my overall feeling and energy, how I'm feeling. I have to be around like people, other people that enjoy improving themselves too, and other people that enjoy talking about, you know, what drives them and motivates them in this world and the magic of life. And like, I have to be around that. I can't be around someone who no longer wants to live. Like, that is really low vibes. And I'm not trying to alienate them, but if it sacrifices your own happiness and kind of takes you down too, it's not worth it. Like, that's like, if you're in a plane falling, you need to put the mask on yourself first, or else you can't help anyone else, you know? So if somebody's energy is affecting you that much, I completely think you need to distance yourself from them. Anyways, that's what's helped me. And since I've improved myself and changed my energy and my vibe, I've attracted like people into my life. And it's really cool, because it's just people who I vibe with, and it's amazing. And all the girls who work for me right now are fantastic. They are amazing. They are so nice, zero drama. Nobody takes things the wrong way. Like, everybody's so peaceful at my work right now, and I have an amazing team. And I've had a time where I had a terrible team and they thrived on drama. And so it feels good to know that I've shedded that off, and I'm away from it, and I am onto a better path. Anyways, hopefully that video helped. Hopefully there's something you take from that. If you have any questions, please write me. I don't know everything, but I do know what's helped me, and I know that I am not going to give up on my journey, and that I am always striving to be better. So anyways, thank you for watching.